Now, for those of you who didn't know it, looks like in between naps, Joe Biden's also helping run Canada. How do I know? Well, because Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland said so. On November 24th, she confirmed that a call with the White House's economic advisor impressed upon her that the Liberal government needed to take action to end the cross-country protests and blockades. And I quote, "That one conversation was a seminal one for me, and it was a moment when I realized, as a country, somehow we had to find a way to bring this to an end," Freeland said about her February 10th call with Brian Deese, economic advisor to U.S. President Joe Biden. Now, for those of you who don't know who Brian Deese is, well, up until Joe Biden started napping in the White House and Brian joined him, Brian used to be with a little outfit called BlackRock. You might have heard of them. Not to mention, he blushes anytime someone mentions Klaus and the WEF. We learned of this during Freeland's testimony before the Public Order Emergency Commission when she was asked to comment on the call. Freeland said that Deese is Biden's most important advisor on economic issues. Now, on a side note, it certainly looks like Mr. Deese is hitting it out of the park. I can't remember an economy ever being stronger. It was a real effort to develop a relationship and a dialogue with him, and always an effort to get him on the phone to get him to answer an email, she lamented. Surprising, given that they both have the same uncle, Klaus. Maybe Chrystia was the black sheep of the WEF family. Freeland explained that this thing was actually a good thing, showing that the US is not worried about Canada, rather than Canada being a minor player that can be easily ignored. Totally what I was thinking. After all, looks like we're the 51st state anyway. But on that date, Deese was the one who called, which impressed upon Freeland that the US administration was worried. Freeland sent a summary of the call to her staff, and she wrote that the US was very, very, very worried. If this is not sorted out in the next 12 hours, all their northeastern plants will shut down, in reference to the automotive industry. Oh, freedom, democracy be damned. Can't have those plants shut down now, can we? Freeland recalled how Canada was worried about US protectionism in the context of supply chains and the issue of electric vehicle incentives proposed in the America Build Back Better bill. Interesting how she singled out EV incentives. I would welcome your comments and thoughts as to why. She said that problems at Canadian borders would fuel more protectionism from the US, which would severely impact the Canadian economy. Unlike, of course, the severe impact of the blanket lockdowns and the shutdown of the economy, as well as the wanton spending in response to COVID. Obviously, none of those have an impact, right, Chrystia? The danger was, were we in the process as a country of doing long-term and possibly irreparable harm to our trading relationship with the United States? So, better to do irreparable harm to constitutional rights. Totally makes sense. Freeland said she asked Deese to set up a call between Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Biden, who she called a very, very busy guy, as the most important elected leader in the world. Well, folks, that's a first. I, for one, never thought I would hear the words very, very busy guy and Biden uttered in the same sentence. Her call with Deese was on February 10th, and the call between country leaders took place the next day. The President and the Prime Minister spoke on Friday, February 11th, and then, as you know, we made an announcement on the Monday, said Freeland, in reference to the invocation of the Emergencies Act on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Now, just for context, especially since this was all about ensuring this cross-border commerce kept moving at Canada's busiest border crossing, and that the Americans wouldn't retaliate against Canada with additional protectionist trade measures, by the time the act was invoked, the blockade at the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor had already been cleared. Just saying. Anyway, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Please post any comments you have in the comment section. You can also follow me on my Rumble and my Locals. If you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed, please do so. And also check out some of my other videos. I will see you next time.